Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Wednesday topical video with us, the British Fist.
Gotcha.
British Fist indeed, with Mr. Parkin in this corner. We have none other than the great NJ.
What's up?
NJ17 at Twitter, Daniel_Parkin at Twitter, and British Fist at Twitter as well. We're plugging our Twitters just like the WWE love to do. And also catch us on Tout. I don't think so, brother. Subscribe above, also like this video. Comment your thoughts on the topic of this video, which is in that title and above, down in the comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
What the hell were you doing there? You got a cold or something?
It was a little bit like that, yeah.
Oh, well, your cold has all of a sudden been cured, so that's good. Just in time to do another YouTube video, guys. So as you can see from the topic up above, I don't think it's any surprise, really, that this week we were going to be talking, especially after what happened at Money in the Bank, we're going to talk a little bit about Dolph Ziggler and John Cena as Money in the Bank winners and what we think about it and what we think of their future, etc. So a pretty simple video concept, really. We want to get your thoughts on John Cena and Dolph Ziggler as Money in the Bank winners and what you feel about them winning the Money in the Bank down in that comment section below. And I think both Ziggler and John Cena will have a lot of different things about them. I think overall, though, Dolph Ziggler and John Cena were the wrong winners for different reasons, but we'll go more into that as we go along. We'll start with Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I'll let you go first then, MJ.
Well, the thing about Dolph Ziggler is when you look at him, I think he's a guy that should have been the main eventer. World Heavyweight Champion, not sure, but main eventer a while back. I think his time being the main eventer was in the past where he could have either won a past Money in the Bank, a past Royal Rumble, or had a contendership match. And now it's been delayed because other people have stepped in or they just felt they had other ideas for him, and now it's been delayed to 2012.
I think the problem here was booking. I mean, you didn't give this guy any defining victories, you didn't give him any big feuds, you didn't give him any big pay-per-view matches. You made him Jamer's job a bitch for about a month. So the problem here is, do I as a fan really believe that Dolph Ziggler is not necessarily worthy of winning Money in the Bank, but is he necessarily worthy? Or will WWE actually build him up to a point where we can actually believe him as a main eventer and a World Heavyweight Champion? That is just my question, really.
Well, talk about building up. The sad thing about Dolph Ziggler is he's siding, or he's got Vicky as his manager. The thing about Vicky is that she does build up heels like Edge, the Guerreros, but she's been sided with Ziggler, not really built him up. So yes, he's now Mr. Money in the Bank, but Vicky has not really helped him to get to where he's at. So the main focus is, forget about Vicky, she's not doing her job. Hopefully the briefcase will be now his new reason to get what he needs, which is better booking, more wins, and better feuds, which, as we've seen in Raw, is likely to happen.
We may be getting that indeed, but before we go into I think that we'll save that for the end of this little section of the video. Before we go into that, I just want to quickly talk about the actual Money in the Bank itself. I mean, there was only really two winners, weren't there? And if you think about it this way, you had Rhodes or Ziggler, really, who were the guys that mainly people thought were going to win this. I think Dolph Ziggler needed the Money in the Bank more, but I think Rhodes was more ready. But there are a lot of people out there arguing that Rhodes can get a more legit shot and doesn't really need Money in the Bank. But Ziggler, he did need it a lot more. It's just that I didn't feel he was ready. And I never said in any of the predictions videos or anything that Ziggler shouldn't win it. I just said he wasn't ready to win it.
Well, let me say about Cody Rhodes. There's two sides. Number one, Cody Rhodes has been against the mid-card, you know, and Dolph Ziggler's been against main eventers, so you could say that Ziggler looked like he was a bit more ready because he was against main eventers while Cody Rhodes weren't, but with Cody Rhodes booking, he became a really strong heel thanks to his mid-card build, and he's been having a lot more wins. That's progressed him to a place where, yes, he's ready for the main event, but the chance to become World Heavyweight Champion, I think he needs main event matches first.
Yeah, and that is the same with Dolph Ziggler as well, which is why a feud with Jericho could be very good. I think the question is, would you rather have a guy winning Money in the Bank who's like sort of main event jobber, main event jobber, main event jobber, or would you rather have Cody Rhodes as your Money in the Bank winner who has steadily progressed from WrestleMania 27 onwards to be a guy who you could legit believe could carry that Money in the Bank? And I think he could talk a lot better than Dolph Ziggler. He has a lot more about him than Dolph Ziggler. He could be more interesting and make that Money in the Bank mean more, which I'm not sure Dolph Ziggler, in my opinion, can really pull off. But we will see, I guess. But
well, with talking in the ring, I think they're both pretty good mic talkers. They both have a good fan base behind them. They both had their way of getting the crowd talking. And as we've seen on Raw, Dolph Ziggler can actually speak up to the main eventers. But I think the way that Dolph Ziggler won, I think, to be honest, the way I've seen Money in the Bank and Royal Rumble, yes, you could say, oh, the booking weren't great, blah, 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 and all that stuff. but he just got lucky because that's all Money in the Bank and Royal Rumble is. It's all about luck. Yes, they plan it, write it down, it's scripted, but still, the matches are about luck. Take your chance to get it, win.
And we knew going into it that Rhodes was more ready. But the way WWE had booked Dolph Ziggler, which I don't know why they book Money in the Bank winners to lose all the time and then everything like that. I really don't see how that really benefits the guy. But you knew that Ziggler was going to win, didn't you, really? Because of the fact that they booked him so badly that he was always going to win Money in the Bank. And let's face it, who the fuck else is really going to win it? Tyson Kidd for a surprise factor? Tensai, who's recently just demised on the WWE product? You didn't really have anyone else that could win, did you? So kind of, if you look at it, Ziggler kind of had to win. If you take into account that Rhodes is probably down the line going to get a more legit shot, which makes him a more legit heel and a more legit main eventer in the future.
Well, the way they look at it is that they've got a Money in the Bank now that could quite easily be turned face. I mean, Cody Rhodes, if he won, he would have been just strong heel. There's no way of turning him face. But with Ziggler, he could do both. So I think Ziggler, in that point, is one of his benefits for winning.
Yeah, indeed. And we just want to give our quick thoughts on a program with Chris Jericho. That segment on Raw, I think the thing I was very critical about with Joel Ziggler is the fact that I didn't think they would book him well, and I didn't think they'd get him involved, and I didn't think they'd make him a special part of the TV show. But they did a good job of it on Raw, and I hope that they give this more to come, because they need to do this a lot with Dolph Ziggler to convince me that he could be a legit welterweight champion. They had that segment with Chris Jericho, and working a program with Chris Jericho, saying that has he got it, has he still got it. It could do Dolph Ziggler a lot of good. Whether or not Jericho will lose to him or whether or not Ziggler will win or whatever, we don't really know. What we will say, though, is this will at least make him stand out on the TV show. It's a feud of a big legend, and it should do a lot of good for Dolph Ziggler holding that Money in the Bank. It really should, and this is something that WWE should have done a long time ago, in my opinion.
And out of all the big names that are in the WWE right now, Jericho is the right guy that's at the same kind of level in ring ability to go against Ziggler. And I do think that this will really benefit Ziggler during the whole of this feud. And the other thing I liked is, as well as Jericho, he's becoming a little bit like Edge. He's the opportunist, as we saw on the pay-per-view. He takes chances. I'm really looking forward to his progression with Jericho and also the chance, when could he cash in, when could he cash in.
And what perfect time to do it as well, going into SummerSlam, a big pay-per-view. So you can give Ziggler a big feud, possibly even a big win, a big pay-per-view. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with this feud. Right now, I don't feel he's ready, but I do hope WWE takes some major steps, which they're beginning to do, in trying to get that Dolph Ziggler character ready to cash in Money in the Bank and be some kind of non-fluke champion, which is what a lot of Money in the Bank winners have been. And it's a real shame, because things like Royal Rumble and King of the Ring established a guy a lot better than Money in the Bank.
True, you could see it that way, but all I'm going to say is that we've seen in the past, steadily, if not at the right pace, the Money in the Bank winner does normally get better booking as time goes on.
So yeah, give us your thoughts on Dolph Ziggler winning. Maybe you like the fact that he won or not, but give us your general thoughts on Dolph Ziggler winning in the program with Chris Jericho. Put that in the comment section below. Now we're going to be going on to... this was a big topic going into the Money in the Bank, wasn't it? We all knew Cena was going to win, but, you know, I think with John Cena winning the Money in the Bank, the question really for me was, Money in the Bank is a concept made by Chris Jericho in, I believe, 2005, going into WrestleMania 21, to try and give new stars a chance in the WWE. And while that has not really worked too well for some stars, it is at least a way of getting some, some heat on stars. And my problem with it here is, you just had Dolph Ziggler win it, who was kind of a jobber most of the time. And then you put the briefcase on the opposite end of the scale, the top guy in the company, John Cena, who effectively, he's the top guy. Why does he need Money in the Bank? I understand they're trying to do something maybe a little bit different or something, but why give John Cena Money in the Bank? It's just, why?
Well, the two thoughts going into this match for me was, number one, Cena eventually was going to be put back into the WWE title picture because he's been out for so long. But I really don't think the Money in the Bank is worthy of a true main event that's done it all for year after year after year. So this whole Money in the Bank really sucked. And the other point is, we had The Miz. Yes, he's winning Money in the Bank before, but I think, quite honestly, of all the people in there, I would have quite happily been seeing The Miz versus CM Punk.
No, it's a match I've wanted to see for some time, but Miz has just returned from filming a movie, so I'm sorry, I don't really think you could have done that match there. I think, to be honest with you, I know a lot of people hate the fact that John Cena won. I didn't think he needed it, but I think that it was the most logical way of doing it. I mean, who else was you going to give it to? Kane? Miz? Jericho, really? I mean, Cena was probably the most obvious choice, especially going into SummerSlam or the 1000th Raw, when you knew that they were eventually going to do Cena and CM Punk. my argument is, why not have Cena get some sort of legit shot and give the Money in the Bank to a young guy who could benefit from it a bit more? That's my only problem. Although I do like the fact that at least WWE are trying to use the Money in the Bank in a different way, trying to do something different and give John Cena a title shot in some different way. That, if nothing else, at least it's trying to give us something new, even though essentially it is on Cena and that means same old shit.
Well, the only good thing I'm going to say from this is the pay-per-view was a bad ending because you saw Cena and his kid-like face holding the briefcase, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, going on to Raw, he did the thing that we all expected because he tweeted and did the video of him saying he's got a big announcement. That's the word.
Tout, fucking hell. Tout.
And he said basically he's got a big announcement and we all knew what was coming, even if Big Show was trying to swerve it. He's facing CM Punk at the 1000th episode of Raw.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I mean, a lot of people argue that John Cena ending another pay-per-view was kind of same old shit, and it has been same old shit now. When was the last time CM Punk main evented a pay-per-view? TLC 2011. You could argue that CM Punk isn't drawing, which is WWE's own fault, which is why Cena is in that main event scene, which is probably why Cena is winning that Money in the Bank. But at least, if nothing more, it has given us an interesting match going into the 1000th episode, and who really knows, with The Rock there, we could get a very interesting match at SummerSlam, possibly. Maybe they could lay the foundations for some kind of WrestleMania feud between Rock and Punk or Rock and Cena or something. I know Rock and Cena has been done already and it was once in a lifetime. But at least at the 1000th episode of Raw, using this Money in the Bank, they're doing it in a somewhat interesting way, despite the fact we've seen Cena and Punk before.
The sad thing about this, I'm going to say this now, is we have SummerSlam quickly approaching us now, and we have this 1000th episode beforehand. So whoever wins at the 1000th episode of Raw, it goes to Punk. Cena's lost his chance. It's over. Cena's got to find another way to get to SummerSlam. But the fact is, the fact that SummerSlam's so close, the 1000th episode.
Yeah, it's a big main event, isn't it, really, for Raw? And I mean, to be honest with you, it really does depend, in my opinion, what WWE want to do. If they want to do a Cena versus, they could have Cena win and still have Cena versus Punk. They could have Cena versus Rock for the WWE Championship if they wanted to. It really just depends what route they want to go down. Smarks such as ourselves will be annoyed that John Cena wins. Casual fans will not be that annoyed because they like Cena. But it just depends what direction they want to go in. They've got The Rock there at the 1000th episode. If they want to use The Rock at SummerSlam, this could be an interesting way of using him. Maybe have Rock versus Punk in a WWE Championship match, which could be main event material. It just depends what they want to do, really. If they want to go Cena versus Punk, there are many different ways they could do it. Having Cena win clean could be a bit of a bad thing, in my opinion. But let's face it, CM Punk has been champion for 7 or 8 months. He hasn't really had that many legit contenders apart from maybe Chris Jericho. And I don't see who else he can really lose the belt to, in my opinion. I really don't see it unless you put a Big Show against him or something like that. This is my point. There's no real legit contenders for CM Punk. So why not put the belt on John Cena again?
The fact is that The Rock was going to come back and face the WWE Champion. Yep. John Cena, I don't think it was really needed for this feud to happen. For Punk to face The Rock, if that's the way they're going, Cena really weren't needed. That's why maybe I would have waited for Cena to cash in the briefcase, not so close to when Rock's making a return.
Yeah, I mean, at least if anything, it gives us some sort of interesting angle going into SummerSlam. And the 1000th episode of Raw is looking very good right now, and this is one of the reasons why. We've got Cena versus Punk. Rock's going to be there, so we've got to expect some kind of SummerSlam match or something to be made from these three being in the same ring together. Don't like Cena as Money in the Bank winner, but as long as they try and do it in a somewhat interesting way, and maybe, just maybe, they could have Cena be the first guy to cash in and lose, and think of what sort of rub that would give to CM Punk.
Because the thing is, we've had John Cena lose to The Rock once before. Then that was his bad moment that we never expected to happen. But for this to be the second time, that's something big's happened to Cena and he loses, it would be definitely a good moment. Because Cena brought the whole fact, I'm facing you Punk to show who's really the best in the world. And if he cashes his briefcase and loses, that really is a slap back in Cena's face. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if that does happen.
Yep, so give us your thoughts on Cena winning the Money in the Bank and where you think it could lead down in that comment section below, of course. Overall thoughts, I mean, Cena and Ziggler winning Money in the Bank, I think one of them wasn't ready for it, and the other one was kind of like, I guess you could say, too high for it in one way. He didn't really need it. It's kind of weird how WWE actually went into Money in the Bank doing it. You know, 4 guys, ex-champions, with John Cena winning it in one Money in the Bank. Then the other one just had a load of 5 ex-champions in the end. It was really strange how WWE did it, really, wasn't it? But I guess it'll be interesting to see where they go with the Raw one. We've seen cashing in on Punk and with the Rock involvement.
Well, Ziggler, I'm interesting because obviously with him with his bad booking, suddenly maybe turning good, and we don't know when he's going to cash in. I'm interested in that. With Cena, basically set in stone what's happening, and it's probably all going to round up at a SummerSlam match when Ziggler looks like it's going to go on longer.
Although I was very critical of Ziggler, I do hope WWE think to themselves, right, this guy now has Money in the Bank. Let's try and book him as a guy who is an important aspect of the show. So kind of like what they did with Jericho and himself. And let's hope that John Cena and Punk and Rock sort of something big SummerSlam related has happened. So we get a second or third big match out of it some way. But there we go. That's been our thoughts on John Cena and Dolph Ziggler winning Money in the Bank. Give us your thoughts in the comment section below, like we said. Now I'm going to hand you over to our Money in the Bank winner, and he's going to cash it in to do the outro tonight. There's none other than NJ.
And people, we're going to show the world. For now, YouTubers, you can't see us. Till next time, YouTubers, goodbye.